but she's also the co-host of the real good cable show, Let 'Em Talk, who puts people like us on that nobody else is going to put on their show. So here's Joan.
Hey, Joan.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. This is Joan Moossy. He said co-host to Let 'Em Talk. I'm also the president of 16 Clinton Street Tenants Association. In 1996, we faced an illegal eviction, which brought me as close as I've ever been to the threat of homelessness, and everyone in the building felt that fear. It was only because of our community that we surmounted the problem. We immediately went on Steal This Radio with Penny Arcade. Frank Morales heard the show, heard our pleas for help, heard our pleas for knowledge. What was going on here? It turned out what was happening with us, it happened all over the neighborhood. It's only by reaching out and talking to each other that you have any idea what's happening in your neighborhood. You've got to speak to your neighbors. You've got to talk to people. And in what happened with us, we came to do that. We got out in the streets, we talked to other people, and two of the first people that came up to me were homeless veterans. And I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. This is how we treat our heroes? To allow them to sleep? Do you feel how cold it is? People will be on the street all night tonight in this cold.
I will.
It takes incredible courage to stand up and say that instead of hiding like so many homeless people have to do. And what about practical things like where do you go to the bathroom? Penny and I were just at this gallery. Two middle-aged women. Oh, we have to pee. Oh, sure, everybody's fine with that. Let's get her a pass, get her up to the bathroom. And I thought, I'm going to tell John Penley this because maybe it's a way, you know, that he could get to go to the bathroom when he needs to.
You put a bottle in your sleeping bag.
Not have to hide behind a dumpster with a bottle. But reality came crashing in on even Penny and I because when we sat down for 1 minute, not to be in the cold, to think maybe we could just be warm for a few more minutes before we go to the demonstration, a young girl approached us with a big smile and said, "You can't sit here." Not even for a minute. Why? Because compassion is lacking in our culture. That's why. Why is any veteran of the U.S. military homeless, without food, without an opportunity for any education he wants, without opportunity for medical care? They've paid enough already. You can't keep charging people. You can't keep putting people in line and telling them to wait. They've already done what you asked them to do. We owe them. They don't owe us. We owe them. We owe them easy access to medical care. Why do they have to pay anything? Why do their families have to go and stand and wait for hours? These people should be at the front of the line. And in my building, there's 4 empty apartments. Why can't homeless veterans live there? Why can't they fill these buildings that have empty apartments? What are they waiting for? The boom, the real estate boom has already happened. To live in a culture with so little compassion is heart-wrenching. To see what we saw yesterday, an elderly person who's saying, "I don't want to go." Why is any elderly person allowed to be evicted in New York City ever for any reason? What are you going to say? She didn't pay the rent? She's paid the rent for years and years and years. Doesn't that buy you anything? Any compassion from a landlord who's had the same tenant for 30, 40, 50 years? There should be a law against evicting anyone over a certain age. There should be a law against ever, for any reason, evicting a veteran. My father was a veteran of World War II. He came home, went to college, became a doctor. And whenever we went anywhere, he was in the Navy, and he was what they called a fleet Marine. they did amphibious missions with the Marines, dragging them in. My dad was a pharmacist, made 3rd class. They dragged them into the hospital, injured veterans. My dad was 17 years old. These are young people with a commitment and idealism, willing to give it all and believe the promises that our culture has made to them, that they will always be taken care of, that they will never be abandoned or neglected. And look what we've done. We're out here begging a huge institution, like Frank said, who educate people, who influence people, what their future will be. And the example is that we have to come out here and beg them to allow men and women who have devoted an incredible commitment to our country, who have been injured, maimed, severely affected psychologically, and tell them no. Here's your option. You can just live on the street and beg for food.
What do we do that don't know what to do?
It's very difficult for individuals to know what to do. And that's why we have to work as a group.
No NYU.
That's why people have to come together. It's the only way. One person, what could you do? Could you bring a homeless person into an extra room in your house? It's not going to solve the problem. We have to get together, change the system of how things are done, and fulfill our commitment to homeless veterans and to all people who have deserved equal rights, equal opportunities in this culture, and we won't live in a civilized world until we do that.
Amen.